Since not everybody's here, maybe we should just start from the Mishnah real quickly. We'll run through the Mishnah on Daf Yomi on the base. If you shecht from the side of a bird or animal from the side, the shechita is kosher lichatchila, says Rashi. And if you do melika from the side, then it's pasul. Basically, as we'll see, that what the Mishnah is comparing melika to shechita. So here we have one thing that shechita from the side is kosher, but melika from the side is pasul. If you shecht from the back of the neck, it's pasul. Why? Because it makes it a treifa. Not only is the melika kosher, but that's the lechatchila to shecht from the back of the neck. Hashoichim minat tzakt from the back of the neck. Hashoichim minat tzavar shchitasik sheira. And now the reverse. If you shecht from the front of the neck, that's a good shchita. Hamoilig minat tzavar milikasik psula. Now the Mishnah says, Shekol ha'oirev kosher l'melika. Bekol ha'tzavar kosher l'shchita. The whole back of the bird, as in this picture, we'll pull it out, why not? All this, wherever it's blue, is good for melika. The front part is good for shchita. Now, and we're going to discuss these last words in the Mishnah as well. Thank you. Nimtza kosher b'shchita pasul b'melika. What comes out from this is that everything that is kosher in shchita is pasul and melika. Kosher b'melika, pasul b'shchita, and the reverse also. Whatever's the place that's kosher in melika is pasul and shchita. Now the Gemara goes into my oiref. What is the translation of the word oiref? It says that if you shecht, if you do melika by the oiref, it's kosher. You do shchita by the oiref, it's pasul. What is oiref? Ilema oiref mamish. If it means that which is opposite of the face. So this is the face of the bird. The red would be the opposite of it. That's the back of the head. That can be. You can't do melika in the back of the mazel tov. You cannot do melika where it's red. Why? Because it's a mefurish pasuk. Mimul arpai amar achmana. It says mimul arpai, veloy arpai. This is arpai. What's mimul arpai? Now the Gemara is going to go on to describe that mimul arpai means facing where you can see the oiref. If the red is the oiref, mimul arpai is in the blue area where you could see the red. How do we know? Hello, my oiref mimul oiref. Kidikoni seifa, like it says in the seifa, kol ha'oiref kosher l'melika. Now, the Gemara is being medayik from the word kol. Everything in the oiref is kosher. Look at the red. Look how small it is. It's tiny. So what does it mean? Kol ha'oiref. In all of this little area of the red, it's kosher. That doesn't make so much sense. If you say kol mimul oiref is kosher, if you say all the blue is kosher, that makes a lot of sense. I could do melika here. I could do melika here. There are a lot of places where to do it. That's kol. Minani the Torah rabbanon mimul arpai mul haroya es ha'oiref. Now, right.
It does include back.
Welcome. We made it. Schusim. We have a schus that we have at Tzala members. Part of this year. They were in Hadassah Hospital a few minutes ago and they're back. Two of them. Now it's good that you go two. Now you can't have any excuses. I was in Hadassah. The other guy's like, you gotta come. We gotta. By the way, you don't have time to take pictures. If you would have taken the picture, you would have been really.
Big deal. So what? 2 seconds, fine. So what?
All right. No, but kol means all of it. Forget about the riboy, not riboy. Kol means all of the oiref. If we're talking about the head of a pigeon, it's tiny. There's like a couple centimeters. That wouldn't make sense to say kol. It should say oiref without the word kol. V'cheinu oimer. So what? I don't know what the chiddush is in kol. What? What do you mean?
Mul is only the back, and orif itself is asa.
should include also the Erev. You want to say
No, but it
more
says-
than because it says Kol,
Time out.
so then say the Erev.
It says in the pasuk Mimul Arpoi. That's what it says. It says Mul.
Oh, so-
It doesn't say Arpoi. If it says Arpoi, it would mean the back of the head. It says Mimul Arpoi. Now, what does Mimul Arpoi mean? Mimul Arpoi Amar Achmana, V'lei Arpoi. Elamai Orev, Mimul Orev. Kiktani Seifa, Kala Orev, Kashal Mili, Gaman Mili. Tanabar Mimul Arpoi. Mula Royas Orev. V'cheinu Oimer. So it says by Balak, Vuhu Yoshev Mimuli. They are sitting across from me. What does it mean? It obviously doesn't mean that he's sitting on top of them. Mul doesn't mean on top of, it means I could see them. So Memela, if this is Mul Oiref, it's a place where I could see the Oiref. I could see the back of the head. But not the back of the head. From a place like a distance. Va'omer, and another raya, Ki fanu elai oiref v'lo panim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that Klai Yisrael turned their oiref to me and not their face. Now, it doesn't say, it should say they turned their oiref and not their tzavar. What's the opposite of oiref? If oiref is this part, then it should say they turned their back of their neck to me and they didn't give me the front of the neck. But it doesn't say that. It says they turned their back of the neck and not their face. Meaning that oiref is the opposite of face. Now we know that oiref is the reverse of face. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Klai Yisrael turned their oiref to me and not their face, meaning that the oiref is the red. And mimul oiref would mean the blue. Says Gemara, Maiva Oimer. What is the Gemara adding here by the second pasuk? In the second pasuk, it doesn't even mention mul; it only mentions oiref. So what did I gain by having the second pasuk? V'chi teima oiref gufei lo yadinin heicha. And if you'll say that I don't even know where oiref is, so I wouldn't know where mul oiref is, so that's why the Gemara brings. If I don't know where oiref is, how would I know where the mul oiref is? Tashma kifanu elai oiref v'lo panim miklad oiref ladi panim. Once I know that oiref is behind the face, is the reverse of the face, so mul oiref is a little lower than that. Okay. Nusogya. Amr b'nei Reb Chia, mitzvahs melika machzir simonim lachayra oiref u'moilek. The sons of Reb Chia come up with a big chiddush that we never heard of, and the Gemara doesn't really like it. That in order to perform melika, you have to grab onto the kanan neveshet and pull it behind the spine, and then you do melika in order not to encounter the spine before the simanim. That's what they're trying to avoid here. On the one hand. No. So if you twist its head, then you're not on the oiref. You're not mimul oiref. Then all you did is you took the neck and you put it in the back, but it's still the neck. The simanim, if you leave the neck as is and you grab from inside, I guess you could just move the simanim around a little bit. Ikeda Amri. So some want to explain in the Bnei Reb Chia af machzir that they're coming to say a chiddush, not that you have to put it behind the neck, that you have to move the simanim. Adarabah. What it's much better, says Rashi, to do it normally, to put your nail right through the spine and then into the simanim. What Bnei Reb Chia are saying is that if you pulled the simanim and pulled them around the corner and did it like that, and you hit the simanim first before the spine, it's also good. Af machzir. V'geda amri machzir dafka. And some want to say in Bnei Reb Chia, no, that it's a problem. That if you were to, Bnei Reb Chia are saying that if you don't do it like that, what's going to happen? You're going to put your nail through the spine, and you're going to make the bird a treifa. You're going to ruin it. So in order to avoid that, you pull the simanim behind and you shech the simanim, and then only afterwards you get to the spine. Says the Gemara, Mustaber command Omer af machzir. It makes a lot more sense that Bnei Reb Chia didn't go that far. That they were saying you could also pull the simanim backwards, but you don't have to. Mimai, I'll prove it to you. It says in our mission that we just read. Hamoilik min oirev milikasik sheira. The Mishnah says two cases that should be identical. Just one is in shchita, one is in milika. That if I do shchita in the back of the neck, I start from the back of the neck, it's a puzzle. Why is it puzzle? If I'm able to pull the simanim and pull them all the way around on a cow, and I do shchita like that, what's wrong with that? I shechted the two simanim. Who cares if it's in the front of the neck or the back of the neck? At the end of the day, I shechted both simanim before I hit up spine. So we have to say that when our Mishnah says milika, that's similar to shchita. It's not referring to pulling the simanim behind the back. V'isol kedaitach top of Chof Hamanal. V'isol kedaitach machzir dafka ma'iri moilek afilu shoichet nami. It should be okay. Elav shma mino af machzir. So obviously Bnei Reb Chia meant I could pull the simanim to the back of the head, but I don't have to. And not only do I not have to, that's better not to. But if you did, it's still a good malika. Umasnisim b'deloy ha'adar. And our Mishnah is talking about where they didn't pull it back, because if they pulled it back, like we asked before, if you pulled it back, it should be okay in shchita. So when the Mishnah says that there's a difference between shchita and malika, it's talking about a case where you didn't pull the simanim to the back of the neck, and therefore, if you do malika from the back of the neck, that's okay, because that's what the Torah tells you to do malika right through the spine, even though you're making a treif. But if shchita, you start from the back and you go through the neck and you hit the spine, you ruined the shchita. You made the animal treif. By the way, I have to apologize for the drawings I did yesterday. Mamish, not to pshat. And I appreciate that everybody corrected me. The Olam Chat on the spot that it was not to pshat. Especially masrek would mean like a comb, so it goes in and out like this. But I forgot to bring the picture. I did post it on the WhatsApp right away. That we were talking about if you shech the third and you do a grama 2/3, basically coming from the top. And you go through, let's say, the koiva, and then you slip into the tabas hagadol. So you're starting hagrama, you're starting from the koiva, and then you make your way into the tabas. And then if you do third, so you start in the koiva, go into the tabas, and come out in the koiva. That's if we say koiva is no good. If we say koiva is good, so then you do the same exact motion, but in the koiva. You start from a bad place of the koiva, come into the koiva. So you're going like this. I did a whole crazy thing, whatever. I should have peeked in the Sichas Chullin. He has it very clear. All right. The bad news is that over 30 people, it looks like, I don't know if they watched the whole shir, but a lot of people watched the shir and I feel bad. It's one of those shirim that I should have edited or something. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Omer Rav Yanai. Yikablu haroivim es tshuvasan. So Rav Yanai says, these youngsters, these Bnei Reb Chia, I guess it's like not such a nice way of calling them. These are young kids. That's why they said this shtickle Torah. That the mitzvah malika is to move the simanim to the back of the neck. I'll prove them wrong. Diktani nimtza kosher b'shchita pasuk malika. What are the last words in the Mishnah? There's a reisha in the seif in the last words of the Mishnah. The reisha says that whatever is kosher in shchita is pasal in malika, and vice versa. Whatever is kosher in malika is pasal malika in shchita. Rashi points out, what did the Mishnah add? The Mishnah adds nothing really, because the Mishnah already says that I can't shecht in the oiref, I cannot do malika in the neck, I could do shchita in the side, but I can't do malika in the... It tells us everything that we need to know about shchita malika. So then what did the Mishnah add? Oh, if it's kosher here, it's puzzle here. That has to come to teach us something. Says the Gemara. This is what Rabbi Yanai is trying to prove. When the Mishnah says that it's whatever's kosher in shchita is puzzle in malika, it's coming to say that this exact case of Bnei Reb Chia, when you grab the simanim and pull them behind the neck, that would be puzzle in malika and kosher in shchita. There's no reason why it shouldn't be kosher, because at the end of the day, all you need to do is cut simanim. So I don't care where the simanim are, in front of the spine or behind the spine. But malika, you have to go right through the spine, and you didn't. So then, what would the second part of the Mishnah come to tell us? Whatever is kosher in malika is puzzle in shchita. Says Rashi, nothing, just to be symmetrical. I say this, I think of that. Now the second part of the Gemara. I made a chart for it because I see Rashi was very makbid on this Gemara. Rashi repeats himself 3 times and keeps on saying, and why does it say like this? So very simple. It's very simple Gemara. I just made a chart for the fun of it. No charts today.
Can I ask you, according to
Yeah.
according to Yanai, af mashad is not correct. You're not allowed.
Af?
You're not allowed. Before we said that you could, if you wanted to, from Malika, pull the simanim back.
Those are Bnei Reb Chia. That's
Yeah.
Bnei Reb Chia saying. Rabbi Yanai says everything. Yeah, the whole. I disagree with everything. Anytime that the simanim are behind the back, it's possible. The Reisha says kosher b'shchita possible b'malika. By the way, I can't figure out, Gary, you have to help me out here. This white line is driving me crazy. On the screen, it shows it completely gray and completely yellow. When it prints, it makes this white line. I have to figure it out.
Sending this early.
What?
Go ahead for sending the picture early.
Yeah, but then I realized I shouldn't do it because somebody answered me right away and is like, "What are you doing up?" So it could no, because some people don't turn their phones off. I realized I shouldn't. Maybe I'll send it like closer to Shir. Fine.
Save zinc.
Save zinc, yeah. And that's exactly why I did this in white, because I want to save, it's just paper, this white. Anyways, Seifa says the exact same thing, just in reverse. Kosher b'malika, pasul b'shchita. So now we're holding in this part, there's three possibilities the Gemara says. Right now we're saying, what does this whole Reish and Seifa come to teach us? One thing, that if I have simanim behind the oiref, behind the neck, so it's kosher b'shchita and pasul b'malika. That's a chiddush. And what do I do with the Seifa? Nothing, says Rashi. It's just to look cool. Kosher b'shchita, pasul b'malika, kosher b'malika, pasul b'malika. Now, if the chiddush is going to be from the Seifa of the words, the last words, then the Reisha means nothing. Okay, let's see inside. Says the Gemara, Omar Rabbi Bar Bechana, Loi, Limu'ute shein v'tzipoiren. So according to the first pshat in Rashi, and Rashi likes this pshat better, we're talking about a tooth that's connected and a nail that's connected. Now what? That it's kosher b'malika. So we're going to the Seifa now. What's kosher b'malika and pasul b'shchita? A tzipoiren. So that's what it comes to tell us. A tzipoiren. And what do I do with the Reisha? The Reish is just to be similar to the Seifa. It doesn't come to teach us anything. Interesting Taisus here. Taisus asks a question on Rashi. He doesn't like Rashi. So Pshat, he says, wait a minute. It says that you have to do Malika with your right hand. So how do you do Malika with your tooth? It's not your right hand. I thought it was interesting. It has to be right. And what tooth is the right? He goes into this whole thing that you see in Yibum. You might be able to do it with your teeth if you don't have hands and not. Kitzer, he says, left, in one of his tirutzim, left is worse than teeth. Doing with your left hand is a bigger chisaron than doing with teeth, which is not right or left. Because left is not right, but teeth is nothing, it's just power. Fine. Ask the Gemara, how could it be that you're learning from the Seifa? That Malika is kosher with a tzipoiren, and it's pasul by shchita, shem tzipoiren behedik tanila. That's a Mefurish Mishnah. We just learned it in the Mishnah the other day. That a tooth is good, not good, by shchita. So what's interesting is, the only reason I made this chart is because the Gemara starts off saying that the Chiddush is from the Reisha, the Gemara says no, the Chiddush is from the Seifa, and now the Gemara is going back to say the Chiddush is from the Reisha. What's the Chiddush from the Reisha? Moilechu mevi. That what? Leme'ute moilechu mevi. If I take my nail, in Malika, I go to the back of the neck of the bird, instead of fetching in, like the Gemara is going to describe soon, that's how you do Malika, I go like this. I go back and forth, like I pretend I'm a shaykhet. I pretend I have a knife on my nail, and I go back and forth. That's no good. That's good in Shchita. Obviously, that's the only way to do Shchita. And it's no good in Malika. That's what the Mishnah, that's what the Chiddush of the Seifa is.
What did Rav Baruch not like in the first shot? Of Maser Simanim. He held.
No, because not that he didn't like. He said, I don't want you to bring a raya from there to knock out Bnei Reb Chia. You're bringing a raya from the Reisha against Bnei Reb Chia.
Right.
Mehechatesa. Maybe the Mishnah is going to say something else.
But once we rejected the Seifa, then we can go back to that.
We could, but I don't want to. I don't want Bnei Reb Chia.
Right.
It's weird what they're saying. What?
He's holding of Bnei Reb Chia.
Who? No, the opposite.
Rav Baruch Chana. No, he is.
Oh, Rabbi Bechana, yeah. Exactly. Not that he's holding, but he's like, you made a joke out of them. You called them Roivin, these little kids, and I have a proof from the Mishnah. I don't know that your proof from the Mishnah is so strong. There's 3 mahalchim in the Mishnah. There's 3 chidushim in the Mishnah. Why are you pulling out and saying that the Mishnah is only coming to exclude b'nei Reb Chia? Maybe it's coming to exclude Shem v'tzipayin or Moilech u'mevi. Hanich lamanda omar Moilech u'mevi b'melika apostle. Elamanda omar kosher ma'ik le'meimar. If you hold that Moilech u'mevi, there's a manda that we'll see that says that Moilech u'mevi b'melika is great. Not only is it kosher, it's maybe it's even better. Who says pushing with your nails is good? Going back and forth, doing some sort of shchita exercise is even better. So then, what would be the chiddush in our Mishnah? What is it coming to exclude? Says the Gemara, Bnei Reb Chia sarvi lo k'man da'omar Moilech u'mevi b'melika apostle. So we're going to say that Bnei Reb Chia hold like the man da'omar that says Moilech u'mevi is apostle. And Mela, the Mishnah is not coming to exclude, and the Mishnah is coming to say tzipayin.
Simanim acharei.
Bnei Reb Chia. No, but what is the Mishnah coming to exclude?
But Shem v'tzipayin is behedek.
What? It's Shem v'tzipayin.
It's behedek. Hold that also.
No, it's coming to. Sorry, Moilech u'mevi. Yeah. Moilech u'mevi by Melika is no good. They hold it's no good, and really they could still hold that you could take the simanim and put it to the back. Omer Rav Kahana, how do we perform Melika? Mitzvahs Melika koitzitz v'yored. You take your nail and you just go forwards into the neck of the bird, and you shecht and you do Melika. V'zui mitzvasa, and that's how you do Melika. Sovar oven lemeimar koitzitz v'yored in Moilech u'mevi loy. It seems like this is the way to do it. Zui mitzvasa, by going downwards, you put pressure into the neck, but don't go back and forwards like a knife. The Torah only says Rashi. It only said that Melika you shouldn't use a knife, and you shouldn't do the Melika in the neck, in the front of the neck. But the Torah never said anything about going backwards and forwards. Says, who is this? Rabbi Yirmiyah. Says Rabbi Yirmiyah, going back and forth is a good thing by Melika. It says Umay Zoy Mitzvasa, which would seem like this is the only way to do Melika is pushing forward. Ema Av Zoy Mitzvasa. It's also. So I have machlokes here, whether or not Melika is dafka putting pressure down on the neck, or you could go back and forth. Omer Rabbi Yirmiyah Omer Shmuel, Kol HaKosher B'Shchita Kenegdoi Ba'orev Kosher B'Melika. We're going to be using this memra. Shmuel says, now Rashi points out, what does kol kosher b'shchita mean? Don't understand it simply, all the halachas of shchita. We're talking about the makam of shchita. Any place that's kosher for shchita, kenegdi ba'orev, kosher b'melika. So, if we're going back to the picture, if this bracket is kosher for shchita, then this blue area, this bracket is also kosher for melika. And any area that's puzzle for shchita is puzzle for melika. So if I can't check this way, so I can't check in the red. If I could check over here, I could check in the blue. We're talking about the makar. Kol kosher b'shchita keneged the bar of kosher b'melika. Ha puzzle b'shchita. And if it is puzzle for shchita, puzzle b'melika. Limudei mai. Now, this halacha was said in our Mishnah. So what did Shmuel come to add? It says in the Mishnah, you have to shecht in the neck, the front of the neck. You can't shecht in the back of the neck. You have to do malik in the back of the neck. You can't do malik in the front of the neck. So what did Shmuel add? Oh, so now we're talking about a new halacha. What happens if the simanim got dislodged completely from? They're connected up here to the jaw. They come out completely by a bird. So if you're coming to say that the simanim removed, and Rashi explains, and therefore what? It's not, we're going still with the same theory. We're talking about the place of shchita. So if the simanim are removed, it's not a place of shchita for a cow. We're not talking about hilchas shchita, says, right? He sticks in this knech. Now we're talking about the makam of shchita. So even though it's really a halacha in shchita, it's no longer a place of shchita because you can't shech there. There's no simanim. Vatani Rami Bari Cheskel, that's not true. Just because by a cow, if the simanim are dislodged, you can't shech, doesn't mean that by a bird you can't do it. Ein ikr simanim ba'oif. There's no problem of simanim being dislodged by a bird.
Even if they're Akar, it's mutter to do a shkita.
You're allowed to do a shchita on a bird that the simanim are akur. There's no ikur. Now, by the way, until now we discussed shihiyah, drisa, and yesterday we discussed about hagrama. Hagrama is the makam shchita, not to veer off, or where is it? Now we just mentioned ikur. That's one of the 5 things. Ikur is, and we learned in Rashi, ikur means to rip. Over here it's, and the Rishonim discussed that Rashi admits to this also, that ikur is also dislodged, like it's akur, it's removed. The simanim are removed.
There's no ikur by a bird.
Rami by Cheskel holds there's no ikur by a bird.
No trade.
There is, yeah, of course, there is treifa, but there's no ikur. Yeah, that doesn't make it a treifa. Oh, so there's no, by Melika there's no drisa and chalada. By regular shchita there probably is shihiyah and drasa. Yeah, why not?
It's doing with a nail, it's not sharp.
That's Melika. That's Melika. Melika doesn't have those things. Melika doesn't have those things, and we'll see if Melika has ikur. Says the Gemara. Oh no, it doesn't come. Shmuel is not coming to say that there's no. You just asked. There's no ikur by a bird. So if there's no ikur by a bird, so then what is Shmuel coming to be mechadish here? So Amar Papa Lemuti Roishai. You cannot do Malika. You can't do Malika here by the red by his head. Says Gemara Roishai Pshita. What's the chiddush? I don't need Shmuel for that. That's a pasuk. Mimul arpay Amar Achmana v'le beroishai. The Torah says it has to be in the blue, mimul arpay, and not in the arpay, which is the red. So what did Shmuel come to be mechadish? Says the Gemara came to be mechadish my roishai shipu roishai. Shipu roishai, meaning at the place, this point right over here, where his neck starts, where the neck starts. Basically, this is the round part of his head. At this point, where this red line is, that would be the shipu roishai, where the neck starts to curve. So what happened? The Gemara explains, like I made this blue line here. Basically, he came above the shipui roish. He went in. Again, back to yesterday's Gemara. He started at the dotted line. He started at a makom puzzle, which is in the red, and he made his way through with the knife into the blue. He started 1/3 in the red, and then he got 2/3 into the blue. So he had roiv shchit in the blue, plus he killed the bird in the blue. Still, it's no good. The yesterday is one of the 3 shitas we had yesterday. The first shita, higrim shlish v'shachat shnei shlish psula, and that's what Shmuel is coming to say. Just like by shchita, something that by shchita is aser, by melika would also be aser. So just like Rav Huna Rav Asi said halacha yesterday, that if you start in a bad place, you start by the koiva, by the shipuya koiva, let's say, and you do 1/3 in the koiva where it's in a place that it's aser, and you make your way with the knife in the cow into the simanim, and you do 2/3. That doesn't make it kosher because you started out wrong. So 2 by a bird. If you start in the red and you come back down into the blue, it's treif. It's no good. It's possible. This which we said that there's no such thing as ikur by a bird. You hear Noam? This is what you're asking. So now he comes to explain. This is only good according to the Mandam that says that there's no shchita minat Torah. Of course, you have to shech the bird, but not midiraisa, only midirabbanan. If you say that the shchita minat Torah, what is it? Which pasuk is it in the Torah? There is no pasuk in the Torah. So what does it mean? Shchita minat Torah says Rashi, it's halacha mishim mesina. So then, yesh ikur. Then, of course, since it's shchita, just like an animal, I would say that there's ikur. So he told him, Adarab, it doesn't make any sense what you're saying. If you hold that shchita is doiraisa, that is possible. By the way, there's no ikur. I'm telling you right now, there's shchita by a bird, so it makes it a doiraisa. But I'm going to tell you a halacha. There's no ikur. That makes sense. And even if you learn a hekesh from a bird to behema, Linyi ikur lehavik behema. But beneged to ikur, we're not going to learn the whole hekesh. Hakadosh Baruch Hu told mefurish beforehand, so you have to explain a little bit. This hekesh, in other words, Hakadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu on Har Sinai. Later on, we made a hekesh, basically to understand that that's what Hakadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu. But Hakadosh Baruch Hu already gave it to him at Har Sinai. The hekesh only came later on, and we don't learn hilchas ikur in that hekesh. But if we hold that there's no shechita for a bird, midaraisa, it's only midarabanon, then how do you know the whole concept of shechita? You have to get everything from behema. If you have no source for shechita at all for a bird, and my only source is an animal, then you have to take the whole package. And part of the package is ikur. Ikur is no good in an animal, so ikur is no good in a bird. So Mela, it's not so clear right now. So Rashi says, just because you brought up, Rashi says, "V'leis hilchasa kimasnisa derami bar Yecheskel," and it goes into this whole thing because if you remember, we learned in this Masechta, Rabbi Isai, you should have asked this question. We learned about if a person was shechted one siman and he found one siman akur. It's mashma that there is ikur by a bird. Remember, if he shechted one, he found one, or he caused it, whatever it is. So then Rashi says all the way at the end, "B'kivin de lo ifsek hilchasa," since there's no psak here, kaimelon b'shal Torah halacha char machmer. Should be machmer. So what does it say here in Hey? But Zayin, but b'shal Torah, Rashi says. Interesting. Okay, fine. Zog to Gemara. Omer Ravina. Omer li Ravin bar Kisi. So, I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but I've always say, like, how many times I say Ravin bar Kisi in the Torah in Gemara? There's a story about the Rogachover, famous story, yeah? You'll help me out because I don't remember the details. They brought him this chelik. They found a new Masechta. Was it in Yerushalmi or in Yerushalmi? Kachim. So he said it's not real, and they asked him, how do you know? Because he went through the whole Masechta, and he said every Masechta has a new Manda Omer that's not brought in another Masechta. This is right here. Rav and Bar Kisi is not brought in the entire Shas, so we know that Chullin is a real Masechta. Yeah. You know, that's what happens when you... Yeah. Listen. I mean, I double checked it with Bar Ilan, but
You were right.
I was right. Yeah. Hadatani Rabbi by Yecheskel ein iker simanim ba'oif. Lo ya'amaran ela b'melika. So now he comes and says another pshat. Listen, don't take this thing literally that the Rabbi Yecheskel said before that there's no such thing as ikur. I say, okay, what he meant to say is only in melika. When you put your nail in the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, where do you do Melika? In the Beis Hamikdash, he did Melika. So then there's no problem of Ikur. But Shchita, yesh Ikur. But Shchita, there is Ikur. V'amar Rabbi Yiri, Amar Shmuel, Kol HaKosher b'Shchita kenegdoi ba'orev kosher b'Melika ha-pasel. It seems like that the neck is pasel for Shchita. So it should also be pasel for Melika. Aho pliga. Kol HaKosher b'Shchita kenegdoi ba'orev kosher b'Melika. That if it says it's whatever is kosher, whatever is pasel is pasel. So it says that if it's pasel for shchita, he just said it's pasel for shchita, but kosher for malika. You just said a yisai that whatever is pasel for shchita is pasel for malika. So it should be pasel. It should be also for you to do this malika. How could you say that it's you can't divide it? You can't say, oh, it's kosher for shchita, but it's pasel for malika. If it's pasel for malika, it's pasel for shchita. If it's pasel for shchita, it's pasel for malika. Says Gemara Opliga, so you're going to have to say the Rami by Yecheskel is mechulik on this yisayid. You don't say whatever is pasel here is pasel here. You could say it's kosher for shchita and pasel for malika. Or I'm sorry, he said it's kosher. It's lo yamar ela b'malika. So the moving ikur simanim is kosher b'malika, and it's it's pasul b'shchita.
So we've looked at
Shmuel doesn't. Rami by Chesel can hold with Shmuel. Shmuel says if it's pasul by shchita, then it would have to be pasul by malika. But he says no, it's pasul by shchita, but it's kosher by malika.
But does that knock out Robin Baal Kisi?
No, it doesn't. It helps Rabbi McKissick. Rabbi McKissick says, he says a statement that this thing that we say, the Rabbi McKissick said there's no ikur, it's not exactly true. It's half true. There's no ikur when it comes to malika, but there is ikur by shchita. Shmuel says that they're equal. Shchita and malika have to be the same. So I don't hold of that Shmuel. Omar Zeiri. Nishbero mafrekes veroiv basur ima nevela. If you break the neck and the muscles and everything around the neck, the spine, you break the spine and the muscles around it, as we're going to see all the way on top of Daf Chof Aleph, you could break the neck even if you cut into the neck without ripping all the muscles. Not exactly sure. Maybe you go through the neck, but not the surrounding. In other words, at one point, you do have to puncture through the muscle, but you don't have to puncture through all the muscle that's surrounding it. So if you break the neck and all the basar around the neck, and says Rashi, it's still kicking and running around, it's mafreches, it's still moving around. Nevertheless, it's an avela. What's the difference between avela and treifa? Big nafkamina, betuma. Meaning, I would say that if I break an animal's neck, it's a treifa, because it's not going to live very long. And then I take a knife and I shecht it. So my shchita undoes any problem that I have with the treifa. Memela, if I touch it, I don't become tummy. Comes up with the big chiddush. No, what you just shechted is a dead animal. It's an avela. I see it walking around. That's nothing. In my book, it's an avela, and your shchita is not going to help at all. You can ask Moshe. He had a maisa there. I just remembered. They shechted a cow, and the cow went running hundreds of feet, and people were running out of the way. And he actually, I think, banged his head. You banged your head then? Stitches. Don't ask. It's dangerous. The thing has horns. It's a bull. It's running like a meshugana. After the shechita, they thought it's dead. They opened up the box, and he got up.
I don't turn it upside down.
Yeah, so it didn't work. He had some life left in him. They had to chase it and kill it with a gun. Anyways, the point is, so this bull that's running around in the shlachtois,
It's a good shchita, no?
he's running like crazy. They got the simanim? With shechting simanim, he ran in the entire factory. They ate it. So what do you do? What do you do if it kills some people? It's a muad. It's not a. It's a whole.
Eli, I thought you said yesterday you shoot it after the shechita.
No, so that's what the Rabbi Shomer was saying. You shoot immediately after the shechita. If you shoot it 5 minutes after the shechita, there's a certain amount. Over here is 20 seconds. You know how long it took them to get this animal? He's running around like crazy. His head is off and he's running and kicking and going through metal and they started. There's a line over there, so they started running away and they started hitting their heads on these pieces of metal that are hanging low. It was a very dangerous situation. The guy chased it with a gun and killed it.
The main problem with shooting after shechita is the draining of the blood. You can't swallow.
He says that the animal's kosher. So maybe it wasn't mamish kosher. It was kosher shechita, but not kosher with blood. I'll go upon him. Says the Gemara over here, it's an avela if you break its neck and then afterwards you want to shecht it, it's an avela. So Shaila had to learn here, is this a question or it's a raya? Malak besakin.
Slight difference.
Yeah, it means the same. At the end of the day, it's the same. It's just it's how you really Rashi understood. It's more of a question, but it says Malak besakin. If you're in the Beis Hamikdash and you take instead of taking the bird and putting your nail through this side, usually you do shechita from here. You're supposed to do malika from here. Instead of doing malika here, he decided to go the easy route, took a knife and went from here. Is that a problem?
Yes.
Why is it a problem? At the end of the day, I got the simanim. So what? But I got the simanim. So it won't be for kosher. Maybe it's not good, but is it good? Is it kosher? Mal v'sakin mitame begodim habeis habliya. Unbelievable. Says we learn that what? That if you do melika with a knife, not only is it not a shchita, you did shchita to a dead animal, and the animal is considered an avela. So Rashi goes into a whole arichos here. What's this halacha by a bird in avela? So we'll go through it real quickly because Rashi points out some very interesting halachas. There's a big difference between a bird and a cow when they die. The bird, if you touch it, you don't become tamei. A cow, every other animal, if you touch it, you become tamei if they're in avela. Mago masa. Whereas a bird, if somebody puts the piece of dead bird into your mouth, into your beis habliya, then you become tamei and your clothes become tamei. Points out Rashi, only the clothes that you're wearing while this happens, but not the clothes that you put on 25 seconds later, even though this animal's inside your body and it's in your digestive system. It's only at the point when it's in your beis habliya. But if your friend takes a piece of steak that's in avela and puts it down your throat, you do not become tamei. So they're reversed. An animal that you touch, you become tamei. A bird that you touch, you don't become tamei. A bird that they put into the back of your neck, you become tamei and your clothes become tamei. But an animal that you put in the back of your neck, you don't become tamei. It says, a kosher bird, yes. It says, brings Rashi, it says, v'ha'oicha min ivlasa. By an animal, it says if you eat, it's nevela. So Rashi says that's not coming to say that you put it in beis habliya, you become tamei. It's just saying that it has to be a sheer achila. So those were the main chidushim I saw here in Rashi. It's a very long Rashi. I'm just trying to save you that. Okay. So what does it say here? That if you do melika, you cut the back of the neck of a bird, it's mamish and avela. V'amers treifa havia. And if you're going to say that breaking a neck creates a treifa, not an avela, milikasa zu shchitasa. So if it's a treifa, I have a way out of it. Just continue cutting it. You cut the simanim, and by shechting it, you're, so to speak, being metahar the treifa. You make this animal not tamei anymore. So how come a bird becomes tamei? How come a bird is metam beis habliya? All you did is broke its neck, and I have a way out of breaking a neck. Do the shchita, continue the shchita with the knife. So what do you see from here? So obviously you see that it doesn't help by continuing the shchita. It becomes an avela by breaking its neck. Says the Gemara, Amri hasa mishum the lav shchita hi klal. Over there by a bird, I didn't do anything. I didn't put a knife through its neck and cut the simanim. I didn't do anything. Why? My time Ravuna Amar b'nei shu machlid. This is a problem of chalada. Here we're bringing up something that we didn't really discuss ever, just in the beginning of the Masechta. Chalada means to hide the knife. You're not allowed to bury the knife. Bury. Like a chulda, the Gemara is going to say, like a weasel that buries itself under her house. If I put a knife right through the animal, right in the center, I don't cut. I just poke it into the neck. Where's the knife? I don't know. I don't see it. It's inside the animal. That's also. Where we shecht and we said it opens up, now I could see the knife. The entire shchita, the knife is visible. That's what shchita has to be. So says the Gemara, listen to this chap. If I shecht a bird from its neck, then the animal didn't open up. Why? Because the spine is keeping it closed. When I shecht the bird from the front, then everything pops open. But over here, the spine is intact, and the knife goes right through the spine, and the whole spine holds it tight. That's what Rav Huna says. So it's chalada. It's a problem. What?
Even though you cut the spine?
The bone doesn't split. It just
בכרס יש הרבה פעמים חלודים, כי יש שומן, והשומן מכסה, אפילו שאתה שוחט רגיל, שומן לפעמים יכול לכסות.
And who sees it? The shochet sees it on the spot?
ואז זה חלודים. אם כל זמן ששחטת יש פתאום משהו כיסה את הסכין, אז זה נהפך לחלודים.
He's saying if there's fat on a sheep, there's a lot of fat by the makom shchita, and they put the knife in, it's deep in. Let's just finish up here a little bit. Rava Amar b'nei shu doires.
אפילו שהוא שוחט רגיל.
So Rav is saying he's trying to do melika. What did he do? Rabbi said, listen, because it's already almost 8 o'clock. What did he do here? He took the knife and he tried to perform melika with the knife. He didn't cut the neck from the back. He did melika. He pushed the knife into the neck. Instead of his nail, he used the knife. But there's no moilchu mevi. So he says that's the problem. It's doiris. You can't push. The only time you could push is with your own nail. But if you're trying to push with a knife that the Torah says is no good, that's doiris. Says the Gemara, Kosovar, Moiluchu Mevim Lika Kosher. No, that would be good. So, sorry. Man, do Amar B'nei Shu Machlid, my time alone B'nei Shu Doris. How come Rav Huna doesn't say like Rava? There's a problem. Doris Kosovar, Moiluchu Mevim Lika Kosher. That is good. Uman do Omar B'nei Shu Doris, my time alone Omar B'nei Shu Machlid. Why? How come Rava doesn't say that there's a problem of Chalada like Rav Huna? Omar Loch Chalada Heichidami Kechulda Hador Bikri Abatim. Why is it called Chalada? Like a chulda, like a weasel. The Mekasya Hacha Megalia. The Gemara is just saying that when you do, even though you're cutting through the spine, at the end of the day you could see the knife. You're right, it doesn't pop open, but you could see the top of the knife. You could look through, you'll see a little bit of the knife. Mashenkin, if you poke the animal into its neck, then you don't see. That's Chalada. Fine. What's tomorrow? I think it's very short.
There's no coffee tomorrow.
Oh, why?
Ooh, it's a fast. What time is? Do we have to push off the shir a little bit tomorrow? 7:20ish. Tomorrow shir 7:20. Nah, 7:20 is fine. Which one? What do you mean?
From 6 to 10.
Whether you see it or not?